Security Breach sucks. Like, I don't think that's even in question at this point. A haphazard story that feels like someone took a really solid plot about cults and possession, made it kid-friendly, and then tried to cut out 90% of it because they are Scott on. Glitches that make Pokemon Red and Blue feel like the most well-programmed games in the world. The ability to literally miss half the story and the main villain because you picked to go to the area with an objectively more useful reward. A villain so half-baked she makes Infinite from Sonic Forces look like a masterpiece. The line,
Gregory, I think you deserve a reward.
Said in a voice that genuinely sounds like Vanessa is about to do things I really can't say on YouTube. The, Freddy, you're supposed to be on lockdown moment, which led to truly one of the most saddening moments I've ever seen online, and I'm a comics fan, so that's saying something. A story where, for reasons unknown to anyone except Steel Wool themselves, Peepaw Willie came back yet again. A story where nothing makes sense, and not in the fun FNAF way, in the what the hap is fucking right now way. But there is one thing it does well, and that's Pretty and Bonnie. Those robots, oh they fucking alright. Happy Pride. So, yeah, Security Breach is crap. But now...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Fazbear Entertainment would like you to put your hands together for the one, the only, Freddy Fazbear.
Rewritten!
KiwiQueen Rewritten, formerly KiwiQueen 13, is a really cool YouTuber who I've been following for several years now and have wanted to do a collab with for many of them. She got her start back in 2018, which YouTube cannot help but remind me is 5 years ago. Almost 6. Gods damn it. Doing very simple animations, voice acting, and the occasional cartoon compilation. In April of 2020, her channel popped off with a Steven Universe compilation because of the epilogue series, Steven Universe Future. Yes, I promise this is relevant information on my FNAF channel.
I was really into Steven Universe at the time, and I was following Future's episodes. Every single time an episode would come out, we would all watch it. And the last episode, well, not the last, but the one with the Steven Universe turning into the giant pink monster, I was watching it, and at first I was just kind of unsatisfied, but then me and my siblings were talking more and more about it, and we just started getting more and more frustrated, and we were like, this is not how we want this to go. So I started writing the first chapter and eventually started writing more chapters, and I realized this is like a whole book. So pretty much just powered on by dissatisfaction, I continued making it until it was done.
Unsatisfied with the ending of Future, Kiwi decided to rewrite the last 4 episodes in a narrative audiobook format with some light illustrations. And with that, we got...
Rewritten!
What followed was 34 chapters of Kiwi emotionally torturing Stephen, and by extension the entire viewer base, in something that I listened to in its entirety while I was on vacation in the Adirondacks, and it is so good, and I will never listen to it again, because Jesus Christ, Kiwi, that was insane. And then the series wasn't done, because the rewrite of the last 4 episodes of the limited epilogue series had an epilogue that was longer than that entire original epilogue series. What the hell are you doing, Kiwi?
Well, I mean, it was as long as it needed to be, you know? Since I wasn't, trying to negotiate with Cartoon Network, I didn't need to worry about, okay, you have 10 episodes to wrap this up or anything. So I was just using the amount of time that I needed to tell the story, you know? And it ended up being very, very big, but that's the story, that's the amount of time that I needed to tell the story, you know?
But very soon in the rewrite, something went horribly wrong. Kiwi, who had at this point amassed a giant following, doing writing, voice acting, and digital art, started having really bad migraines. She could barely stand to look at the screen for more than 10 minutes at a time. Her gorgeous art had to be simplified to basic line art and some blocks of color. She switched to handwriting the whole story.
Obviously, I didn't just wake up and the condition was there. It was a very, very slow. Over the weeks, my head was hurting more and more, and I had to stop doing the animations that I loved so much. And I thought at first, okay, I'm just going to take a week off. Maybe the headaches will go away. But then after that week off, it still wasn't better. So I did 2 weeks off and then 3 weeks off, and I started freaking out about it. It was a pretty rough time in my life where the thing that I loved the most was taken away from me. It felt really, really cruel, you know? it was bad, and eventually realizing this isn't like a normal headache, this is a condition. Like, I literally burned my brain. So it was pretty bad. It was one of the scariest things that I've experienced, honestly. Just a bunch of awfully painful symptoms happening for you don't know why, you don't have any answers. You're just like, why is my head hurting so much? It was bad. I'm so glad it's over. Like, finally getting through and understanding what it actually is a big relief.
Eventually, she just had to scan drawings from her sketchbook because she couldn't even look at the screen at all. But finally, after all that time, all that suffering, permanently damaging herself, our queen finished the project. The channel didn't exactly go dark, but it certainly didn't stay super active either. But just a few months after the rewrite of Steven Universe Future was over, she started making some interesting community posts.
Okay, so funny story. I got COVID and I was stuck in my room for like a week. And at that exact moment, my FNAF phase came back because Security Breach had come out and Markiplier was about done playing his section of the game, And so my FNAF phase hit, combined with me being completely isolated in my room. I started to rewrite it.
And then, on November 12th, 2022, she... God damn it, Kiwi, we have another health crisis to talk about. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? So, the migraine has never stopped. Kiwi had permanently damaged herself by doing that original rewrite. So she had to use her hands a lot more. Which is a problem, because she was doing so much work with her hands that she permanently damaged them. Damn it, Kiwi! Stop doing this to yourself! I love your work, but stop it! I'm begging you! Now, she started doing speech to text so she could write without using her hands or looking at the screen. At the same time, she was using her very limited hand and screen time to try and voice act, edit, and draw these beautiful, beautiful backdrops that are so detailed and must have hurt so much to do. Kiwi, why do you keep doing this to yourself? But with all that established, the wonderful KiwiQueen 13 finally managed to begin FNAF Security Breach Rewritten! Her mission statements going into the story were simple. Make it actually scary, give the characters stories that actually make sense, and let the past die, kill it if you have to. The year is 2087. Animatronics, who are far from being just AI, but are also certainly not possessed by anyone from about 2060, walk the Pizzaplex. They have complex personalities, and you can't quite make sense of them. But you know they're not just computers. A little boy named Gregory, glad to have an awful home life, gets stuck at the Pizzaplex. It's later revealed why he went in there. He was following his brother. Also, Freddy and Bonnie are very much still, oh they fucking. Happy Pride. I'm not gonna spoil the whole plot for you, because it's really good, but I am gonna tell you about one thing it does well. Lore! Almost every episode ends with a log, journal entry, or something else to indicate lore. It's typically stuff from well before the events. The oldest one I believe is from 2061, and the newest is from 2082. And it gives necessary and valuable insights into the story. It's also just really interesting, and unlike canon FNAF, makes some goddamn sense!
That was a thing that I planned since the very beginning, actually. Because FNAF is known for its mysterious lore, and I'm gonna be really mysterious. I got an idea how I can slowly reveal their backgrounds and stuff like that. So I've actually, I think that the lore is the thing that was one of the first things that I developed, because I didn't want it to be a thing where, like, I figure out the lore halfway through and then I'm like, whoops, I like, what's it called? Like, I contradicted it a few chapters ago. It's like, oh no. I didn't want to take the route that Scott Cawthon did, where he's like, oh no, now I have to rewrite my entire thing.
Had an ongoing document keeping track of the lore since about chapter 7. The story is now on chapter 30, and it's essentially like there are two side-by-side narratives happening. Once again, I will not elaborate on the lore of Vanessa Miller, her brother Jeremy, her father Victor, or her mother. This story is so good, and it gives Vanessa an actual motivation that, while inspired by William Afton, isn't much more. My friend Jax can tell you all about this, but from how I understand it, it's really not at all uncommon for people to read about a serial killer, see something in their motivation that made sense, and start imitating them. That's what's happening here, and it's genuinely terrifying. Vanny is not William's daughter, or his puppet, or his slave, or any of the other things that Ken and Vanessa might be. She's just a woman with a connection to Fazbear who was intrigued by some things William Afton did. Peepaw Willie is dead, but beyond that, you can almost see where she's coming from. I'm not going to spoil anything, obviously, but a lot of what she did almost, makes sense in a weird way. Not the murder, certainly not the taking a child, but some of her reasonings. She lost her mother at a young age, and, well, I'll just leave it at that. This story is also really harsh. It's hard to listen to in places. Both because of the nasty-ass descriptions, and even more so because of the incredible psychological torment that these characters are all put through. I told you that Steven Universe Future Rewritten was basically Steven being emotionally tortured for 51 chapters. Steven Universe was a brightly colored, silly cartoon about gay rock people. This is a horror series. Every single one of these characters is an incredibly intense emotional turmoil. If you want to turn back, I encourage it. You have more self-control than I. But for those of you ready to follow me into the brink, I welcome you to 5 Minutes at Freddy's Security Breach Rewritten. And if you want, you can also check out the full interview that I did with Kiwi on one of these two sides. I don't know which one it is, but you know. This story is awesome, and a lot of that awesomeness is in the character-focused storytelling. And if you want to see more about why that character-focused storytelling is so necessary in 5 Minutes at Freddy's, you can check out this video right here. Till next time, stay ultra and peace out.